Well, here we are, David, looking ahead to our big day out at Swindon on Saturday. Unfortunately, it's going to be behind closed doors. Do you fancy our chances down there?
Well, I know Alan and the players are confident. Obviously, drawing a League One side, 4.5 hours away is not the easiest of ties from the journey itself. That's also at the moment we were wondering whether we could. The hotel we had booked is now closed, so we're trying to find accommodation so the players don't have to do the full journey down and back in a day. But certainly, the lads are confident. We've got the squad are fit. Obviously with the exception of Holmesy and Aki at the moment, but the rest of the lads are buzzing to go. And after a good win on Saturday, looking forward to the tie.
You were seated just 3 or 4 seats along from me, and you seemed to me as if you thoroughly enjoyed yourself on Saturday.
Well, I hope I didn't interrupt the commentary too much. No, I enjoyed it. I thought the football was a joy to watch. No disrespect, to the opposition, but if it had been 6, they couldn't really have complained. We, 5 times in the first half, we broke clear around the back. Cams is electric across that, that first 5 yards, and with the playing a high line, which put the ball in behind, and Cams was onto it. So we probably should have scored more. And I thought, Ben starting in at right back had a great game at right back, looked really good down there, and Eriko on his debut linked up superbly. Let's not forget the tireless work that the rest of the lads put in. I thought Luke had another great game up front and caused their centre halves a huge amount of problems, and we could and probably should have scored more.
Financially, how much does this FA Cup run mean to the club?
Well, unfortunately, this year the FA Cup prize money has been halved, but obviously from our perspective, winning through the ties so far have been excellent. Saturday's tie originally was going to be 22,000 to win and nothing to losers, but the FA have relented, and so it's 16k for the winners and roughly 6 for the losers. So again, it's decent money. It jumps up, it doubles to the next round. But Alan's challenged the players, and he said, "Well, why stop at the first round? Let's see if we can get through the third round and meet some of the big boys." So the team are excited about it. Obviously, League One side, they'll be fitter. They're playing at a higher level than us. But go down there and give it a go. I know certainly from an attacking perspective, we'll cause them problems at some point during that game.
There's a parallel, really, isn't there, with last year's FA Cup first round tie when we went to Walsall there and we did our homework and we caused a surprise down there when we drew 2-2. Joe Wheatley scored in the very last minute. It was a never to be forgotten day, wasn't it?
It was superb. It was a great day out. I was talking with Nicky Hunt around what he thinks of the standard. He thinks the standard of this league is exceptionally high. There's not much difference to the National League and to EFL too. So we know it's going to be a tough game, but we'll go down there and give it a good go. And hopefully we can get something in the day.
Fortunately, this FA Cup prize money compensates for some loss of gate receipts, doesn't it? And as well, the National Lottery contribution came along. It was reported as £30,000 per month. How much has that secured the club's immediate future?
Well, I think firstly, not having fans at games is not something we want. We want the fans back inside, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later on. But in the absence of the fans, the National Lottery have stepped forward, and we're very grateful for them. And the money come forward over the next 3 months has put us in a very strong financial position. So there is no financial risk for the club. Should the fans be allowed back in the new year, then that would be great from a revenue perspective. But if not, I'm sure funding will continue. But as it stands, we're okay for the season. We're not going to be, it won't be great from a cash flow perspective, but we've got sufficient funds to sustain the season, even if the lottery funding stops in January.
Do you think there's much chance of the crowds returning soon? Obviously, before Christmas seems to be struck off completely now, but what about in the new year?
I think it's quite clear. I've spoke before around this. Contact brings infection, and until there's a vaccine, there is going to be increased cases as people. The government have got a very difficult situation. They're trying to release a lockdown. They're trying to keep the economy turning, but as the number of cases increase and the hospital beds start to fill up, we've got to do something. So I personally can't see fans coming back in until there's a vaccine around, which is disappointing. And I suppose it's a bit ironic if we were to get further in the FA Cup and fans can't even come to see it, then That's disappointing. However, I must, I want to put a plug in here for our live streaming that you guys have worked on, the same with Kevin and Stuart and others. It's a fantastic product, great reviews. We're making decent money from that, which is fantastic news. And also, once fans are back in, we'll still continue with this service because we've got fans around the world now who are dialing in, and instead of just listening to fans radio, they're taking the live stream and paying to watch the game live, which is great. And the quality of the product is superb. So great, great praise for everybody who's been involved in that, and long may it continue.
And it's the next best thing to watching Darlow in the flesh, isn't it? Watch it on QTV. It
is, fortunately, I'm allowed to go to the games, but it is very, very strange. With no fans there, it's eerie. But the players, once they cross that line on the pitch, I'm sure they would prefer to have fans behind cheering them. But ultimately, they're professional and they get on with the game. But I'd love to see fans back in.
Off the field, how are negotiations going with Malden Park Rugby Club?
Yeah, they're continuing. We were deep in discussion. We're now going back to the arena, but at that point in time, the government were talking about allowing us to have, and the league to talk about allowing us to have, restricted capacity based on the size of your ground. So the arena gave us the opportunity to get, even with COVID, social distancing, over 3,500 fans in. So it was perfect for us. It would have satisfied all the Dartmouth fans being able to attend and the away fans being able to attend. Then the rules changed, so we're left with this situation whereby we continue to pay the license fee at Blackwell, and was it worth paying license fees in both grounds if fans weren't allowed to attend? So we basically just put talks on hold whilst we watch what's happening with the COVID situation. It changes weekly. We've seen that, and so for the moment we're streaming from Blackwell, but we've got to look at the situation regarding the arena potentially for the future for getting fans back in a safe manner. So I'm still talking to Morden. They've been brilliant, as have the rugby club at Blackwell. New board in there have been brilliant with us as well. But we've got to just make the right decisions for Darling financially, but also as we return to playing in front of crowds, we have to look at that as well from a safety perspective.
Yeah. For the rest of the season, though, from your chief executive officer point of view, what's your targets now for this season? Sorry.
Well, look, I don't want to put pressure on Alan and the boys, but I think he's recruited very, very well. I think that the caliber of play we've got, we're going to cause size trouble. If we can get that consistency, then we should be pushing for the playoffs. I think we will always have goals in us this season with the players we've got. Let's be clear that the last 3 games we've played really well. We've created chances. We've scored goals. We should have scored more. We're creating chance after chance after chance. But that's without Nipper on the pitch. He fortunately he's back fit now. Another option for Alan. But this is great. When the games start coming Tuesday, Thursday, thick as they can, then we're going to need to rotate the squad and play best. But whatever we put up front, I think we're going to score goals. So last season, if we are being critical, I think that we didn't get the goalkeeping situation right. I think we were a little bit experienced and soft at the back and let too many goals in. We didn't see games out, and we didn't score enough goals. So it was very clear. Alan was very, very clear what he wanted to do. He was clearly strengthening his front line to give more options. His cams up there, and at the back we brought in experience with Nicky and Macca coming in. And, so I'd like to think we've corrected those problems. And obviously with the goalkeeping situation, we've got a young kid with Johnny there with a lot of potential. But Alan's also looking at cover as well, to make sure that we learn and we continue to improve, and hopefully we'll start. You're not going to play brilliant every week. When we don't play brilliant, we need to grind out results. The 1-0 wins, not getting beat. That's what we've got to do. We've got to have a bit more experience and a bit more grit. But I'd like to think we're heading in that direction now.
And there's talk as well. Come May, we'll be celebrating some sort of Darton success.
I don't think so. I don't think so. We've signed Alan signed a new 3-year deal, and he's delighted. We are where we thought we'd be at this point. We said at the start of last season that we'd like to bring in. We had to rebuild the squad, and we'd like to keep 70% of that squad, and then add some talent to it. And that's exactly what we've done. And I think the squad now is very, very competitive, and it's got goals throughout the side.